So to kick off our second half, Mary Jo already did the introduction, but we have a very, very special storyteller who's been on other stages, including Tellers of Tales. We're so lucky to have her here at Odyssey. Please welcome Susanne.
All right. You guys are a lot younger than the folks in Green Valley, I can tell you that. That's the last concert I did. Well, I was cleaning out a closet a couple of weeks ago, and I came across a box, and inside it were the slides that my husband Jack and I had taken on our very first camping trip. We had gotten married in the fall of 1968 while he was stationed at Edwards Air Force Base in the middle of the Mojave Desert. And by spring, we were desperate to have something with color, something besides dry lake beds and short gray-colored sagebrush. And he'd never been to Yosemite, and I hadn't been since I was 5. And it was only a half-day drive from the base, and we decided that we would go camping. It fit right into our $0 budget. We could cook our own food. Camping fees in those days were negligible, and we could check out camping equipment from Special Services on the base for free. So we decided that we would go the weekend before Memorial Day. We'd take a long weekend, and we'd spend the first night in Sequoia, and then we would spend the next 2 nights in Yosemite. So here's the first slide. You can see that Jack has been to Special Services. He's unloading the car. And that kind of box thing that's sort of gray with string, that held the tent, has no label, no instructions. There's the Coleman lantern, and he's carrying the Coleman stove. Now, he decided that hundreds, if not thousands, of people had used this equipment, so he better test it out. Now, you can see here that he's been working diligently at trying to get this stove started by the pile of burnt matches. And after that pile grew about doubled, he finally decided, well, the stove was faulty. Here we are the next morning. We're all packed up. We're ready to go. We look so happy to be starting this adventure. And oh, goodness, do we look young. Oh, here we are. We're at Sequoia. You can see the look on my face. I'm just stunned and amazed. I'm in awe. I'd never seen snow removal equipment before. Look how high, that machine that's clearing the parking lot, look how high it's throwing the snow, and the sun is glistening off of it. It's like a snow rainbow. And this picture, well, that's Jack's hand, and he's clearing the snow off the sign that says, "Campground closed." We found out later that the reason there was still 2 to 3 feet of snow everywhere was that the Sierra had 440 inches that year. It's still one of the snowiest years they've ever had. Oh, yeah, ugh. This is the 1930s vintage motor coach motel that we stayed in with kitchenette. We needed the kitchenette because I had to cook the food that we had brought because it had taken almost all the cash that we had just to rent the place, and those were the days before credit cards. Oh yeah, this is the money shot. You go through the tunnel and you go around the curve, and the Yosemite Valley opens up before you. That monolith of granite right there on the left, well, that's El Capitan. And no, you have not developed new floaters. Those little specks are actually climbers. And then there's Ribbon Falls. And then on the right, you see Bridal Veil Falls. And at the end, there's Half Dome. It looked just like an Ansel Adams photograph, only in color. Now, if you've never been there, put it on your bucket list. Here we are. Oh, yeah, we found a campsite. We've got the tent spread out on the ground. Does it look to you like it has two tops? We're unloading the gear. I thought the sunlight coming through, filtering through the trees, just made it seem so restful. Oh, yeah. Now, that lump that you see under the canvas, that's Jack. And that blur running around the outside, that's me. I'm trying to figure out what this thing looks like before he dies of heat stroke or asphyxiation. Oh, yeah. And there I am. I'm yelling, "It has two tops! It has two tops!" Oh, yeah. Now we're assembling the frame. Those were in the days they had exterior frames, and the frame had 4 legs, and each leg had 3 sections. And the connections were pretty loosey-goosey from all the use and abuse of the previous campers. Oh, yeah. I've almost caught up with one of the leg sections that's rolling down the hill toward the river. Here we are trying to keep the legs together long enough to hook the tent from it. Yep, I'm chasing 2 sections, and Jack's chasing one going the other way. And, yeah, we're still trying to hold the legs together. And finally, yeah, there's the tent hooked to the frame. I'm taking the bedding, the quilts and the blankets and all that into the tent, and Jack is going to light the Coleman stove so I can fix dinner. Don't you think that early evening sunlight, or the sunset light glinting off the Merced River is beautiful? Yeah. You can see that Jack has been trying to light the stove for a while by the pile of burnt matches, and if you look carefully, the air around his mouth is, well, it's blue. Now, this slide, I think, is the most artistic I've ever taken. You can see that Jack and our neighbor camper, Bob, are silhouetted in the campfire light from their campfire. I'm not sure what Jack had in his hand. It could have been his hat, or it could have been his ego. Now, oh yeah, this is Camper Bob. You can see his face is aglow from the light from the Coleman stove. I always thought he had looked, kind of ruggedly handsome. And look, he's only holding one burnt match. Now, this was the next morning. We went up to Glacier Point, and from Glacier Point, you look down and you see the whole valley out below you, all the waterfalls, and Half Dome is so close you feel like you could reach out and touch it. Check out the size of this bear. There were several. They did not keep people and bears separate like they do today. And if you look in the background, you can see a guy, and he's got all his camera equipment, which he set down on a rock, and he walked away. I mean, pretty trusting, if you ask me. Yeah, there's the biggest bear. He's checking out the camera equipment to see if there might be something tasty there. Oh, yeah, this is a picture Jack took. The bear has turned away from the rock, and he and the photographer are mirroring each other's body language, and they're roaring. And I'm way in the background. You can see I'm coming back from the concession stand with 2 cups of hot chocolate. Oh, yeah. This picture, well, the bear is coming right at me. I'm trying to turn 90 degrees. I have that I better get a move on look on my face. You can always tell when I'm in a hurry. Now, they say that with physics, this is actually not possible, but I have the scientific proof. If you look, you can see that hot chocolate from the cup suspended in midair as the bear is running right behind me. I never did get the chocolate stains out of that sweatshirt. Now, this is us where it was a hard day. We were relaxing around the campfire. When we went to sleep that night, we never even noticed how hard the ground was. Yeah, we were all packed up the next morning, ready to head back to the base. Yosemite had one last gift. There's Mama Bear trailed by 3 tiny, fuzzy little cubs heading down to the Merced River. And that's the last slide. Thank you for taking this tour through memory lane with me. It was the first of dozens of camping trips that my husband Jack and I have taken over 56 years of marriage. And it's just like Patrick McManus says, camping, a fine and pleasant misery.